Charlie Munger, How to Survive the 2023 Recession. Well, Charlie Munger is back, and he's bringing the spice. He recently sat down for a 20-minute interview with CNBC, where he discussed inflation, the Federal Reserve's excessive money printing, a potential 2023 recession, and, you guessed it, the demise of crypto. And this is actually really exciting for us as value investors because, well, obviously, Charlie is a legend. But it's also exciting because he's at least 98 years old, and I basically like the existence of the Federal Reserve. I believe that in a world of quiet currencies, we need wise central banks. And I believe that we've had pretty good people in it trying to be contributors to civilization. If you look at Japan today, you'll see that the federal bank has made our central bank a little mouse that hardly tries to do anything. So we've learned that central banks can be really important, and you can push them to great access if you're in enough trouble. Let's now hear Charlie's take on the current crypto situation. The way I see it, it pains me that in my own country, I see people who were once reputable people helping these things exist, promoting their use, and so on. This is a very bad thing. There are people who think they're going to be on every deal because it's hot. If it's hard, they want to be in. I think that's completely insane. I think they actually mean well, though you're seeing a lot of delusion. It's partly broad and partly delusional, and that's a bad combination. I don't like either fraud or delusion, and the delusion may be more than enough delusion. So nobody's going to invent something that allows every 12-year-old kid to become a billionaire or something he just calls Munger coin and starts trading it or something. It's crazy. It's demented. Here, Charlie targets the big players who claim to have invested heavily in crypto projects and businesses, and he raises a really fundamental point that he goes on to repeat several times throughout the interview. Over the last 12 months, a lot of investment firms have been caught off guard by the dramatic collapse of cryptocurrency and crypto exchange businesses, but they shouldn't have been. I mean, right from the start, we've all known that cryptocurrencies have no intrinsic value. Yes, they have imputed value, but they do not have intrinsic value, and we've also known that the success of most of these crypto exchange businesses has been extremely Ponzi-like. Now, as a value investor standing at home plate with infinite strikes, it's pretty easy to just let this go, and all the value investors I look up to did. But it's crazy how some even well-known value investors just feel as though they need to be in on every single deal. They need to be making money in every single situation. I think this is a very dangerous mindset to have in investing because it also leads you outside your circle of competence. So in Charlie's view, he's angrier at those that got sucked into the delusion and the promise of returns and didn't actually stop to think about what they were actually buying. And interestingly, he thinks the reason why this went so extreme is actually because there was a lot of merit behind the technology of cryptocurrency, the blockchain. Have a listen. There was the argument that the blockchain is different, that the blockchain is something that businesses and industries can build on. It is what sucks, okay? You're in way more trouble with your bad ideas now. It sounds very peculiar. Well, what he meant is that the thing is basically a good idea. I mean, it's a good contribution to mathematics or something, but you've got a good idea. It's much easier to push that through wretched access, and there will always be some good idea. Nobody is going to say, I've got something I want to sell. You know, blockchain is a new good thing that's come up like fairy dust. The same can be said of mortgage-backed securities. You know, it started as a genius way to safely securitize mortgages, but over decades, it was such a good idea that it just kept getting pushed. It got pushed to that wretched excess, and eventually, it collapsed the entire global economy in 2008. But of course, these things do enormous damage. These big collapses can trigger bigger recessions and depression. So, Charlie isn't against new tech, he just takes aim at the speculative new ways to make money that rely on hype as opposed to fundamental business performance. This goes back to that fundamental lesson of investing he mentioned previously. Have a listen to this clip and basically just replay it every time you're thinking about buying something just because it's hot and people are pushing it. I wish we had a system of public repute, which was more possible with the kind of people who promote these things. The good people. What happens is that in certain places they want to be in everything that could get hot and run for a while. Randy Graham had a joke about an upper motor going to heaven and me standing at the gates of heaven when he heard of boys coming up from below and saying oil was discovered in hell. He stopped going into heaven and started going down, and it was St. Peter who said, "What are you doing?" "I'm leaving." He says there may be some truth in this rumor. I don't like wretched excess and manias and so forth, and we have a lot of long-term liquid securities. Marcus, you're never going to get rid of excess, manias, and crazy things that get really promoted and then collapse. But it's so simple if you have my approach to life. I just don't even look at them ever. Why would I look at them? I don't believe in magic. So if somebody tells you you've got some magic called Bitcoin that's better magic because it's got something like blockchain in it, it's just so easy to flip it aside and say it's beneath me. Think of the trouble I've avoided in my long life, a huge list of activities I guess are beneath me. I don't want to do everything that's legal that will make money. I want to equip myself reasonably well in life, and if something even smells bad, I tend to give it a wide detour. My way of doing things works. There are no arguments, just staying rational was a very good thing to do, and that's it. You have to be long-term focused, and you have to steer clear of speculation if you stay rational like that. As Charlie says, it's not hard to get rich. Investment is a game of temperament, not intelligence. I think it's important to always remember that. But anyway, guys, these are Charlie's points from his latest CNBC interview. What do you think of our video? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, please subscribe and turn on the notification before leaving. Thanks for watching.